What's up, hotties? It's your girl, Hallie Gilmore. Grab your shoes, connect your headphones, let's go for a walk. It's time for a hot girl talk. HGT is a podcast for every woman ready to embrace their fullest potential. Hosted by me, HG, a powerhouse spanning the dance and model industry, corporate world, and all things personal growth. This show is your go-to guide for inspiration, empowerment, and lessons that will change your life. Let's get into it. Hello, my beautiful hot girls and boys. Welcome back to Hot Girl Talks podcast with Hallie. I am so excited to be here. I am on cloud nine, and I hope that you guys can receive that energy that I'm giving, and I hope that you're on the same wave and that this year is treating you with kindness and greatness and success and all the things that you dreamed of. So today's episode is going to be on my modeling journey and how I got signed with Wilhelmina Models in Miami. And I have some exciting news. I just went back down to Miami yesterday and interviewed with two separate agencies, and it went amazing. I can't even put into words how I'm feeling right now, but I'm going to try my best. But I do want to say, I hope that you are, again, taking care of yourself. This podcast is a self-care, self-help, personal development type podcast. So I want to make sure that you're doing things that improve your life, whether that's within your daily habits, your routine, the people that you're surrounded by, the things that you're doing every day that make you happy, the job that you're in, just finding joy in the small things and the little things, because as we know, life is short and we have to make the best of the time that we have here. So that's just your little reminder. So my modeling journey started officially and professionally in 2020, which is odd because that's when quarantine happened and COVID happened, but that was just my time. But before that, I was building my online portfolio on Instagram and just building that with free photo shoots. I would do collaborations, I would do my own photo shoots. And I just love taking photos. It's something I'm really passionate about, like taking them, but also like modeling in front of the camera. So I would get together with friends and we would go on photo shoots, or I would collab with like professional photographers, but none of it was ever paid work. It was just for fun to build my portfolio. But that's something important, that if you're interested in getting into the model industry, you do have to do some things for free in the beginning. And that's with a lot of different types of like art industry. With dancing, that's similar to my journey as well. I would do some free gigs here and there, or, collabs to build my portfolio, because you have to do some free work to really like make it all worth it when you're getting paid big bucks to do what you love. So back in 2020, I was on Instagram posting my content, and I got scouted by Premier Models in New Smyrna Beach, which is in Florida if you're not from here. And they reached out to me and said, hey, like, we love your look, you should come by and come see us. So I did just that, and I submitted some photos, literally in my backyard. I remember this moment specifically. I was wearing a green bathing suit, and I had my friend over, and I was like, hey, can you take some pictures of me? I posted up behind like a hedge, like a green bush, and my hair was like pitch dark black. The curls, my hair journey is a whole other episode, okay, guys? But anyways, I'm like over here nitpicking myself when it's like I'm preaching confidence and self-worth and all the things, which I have. It's just, looking back, there's like, oh gosh, my hair looked a mess, but it's fine. So I sent them some photos, and I ended up meeting the agents in New Smyrna, which is an hour away from Orlando, where I live. And yeah, it was from there, the rest is history. I still work with Premier Models. They're amazing. I highly recommend a mother agent. It's worked out for me in a lot of ways. So back in 2020, I took photos with my mother agent, and they helped me with a comp card. And that's really when things started to like take off for me, after I did all of that. And so after I took my photos with them, they got my measurements, they started sending my images out to agencies. They started doing their job, which is what mother agents do, which is why I highly recommend it, because their job is to help you get booked. Like, you can do it on your own, absolutely, but sometimes it's just like easier to have people help you that do this full time. So it worked out for me. Wilhelmina reached out to the agents at Premiere and said that they want to sign me. So I hopped on a Zoom call because this was back in 2020. It wasn't all face to face right away. Hopped on a call. They asked me questions about like what I do. They really just wanted to get to know me. And I was just my bubbly, happy, go lucky Hallie self at the time. I remember the interview. I had braids in my hair, like boho braids. I remember what I wore. I don't remember every single question they asked. I just remember like there was a lot of good energy coming from the call. I danced for the Orlando Magic. So I think to them that was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Because it is so cool. Like it was such a cool thing. And when people hear that, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, she's got it going on. So hit it off with Wilhelmina, went down to Miami. So I did a test shoot. From there, it's like, Wilhelmina's job to kind of push out those photos and my profile and get me jobs. And I didn't book my first job until like a few months in. Like it was really slow in the beginning. And I didn't book consistently. I was not a full-time model. I wouldn't even consider myself really a part-time model. Like, yes, I was more of a part-time, but the jobs weren't flowing in like I wish they would have. But maybe it was because it was during COVID times. Maybe it's because, I don't know. There are many factors could go into it. They're also in Miami. So anytime they had a casting, I would do my absolute best to get down there, but it's typically a last minute thing. Like, hey, there's a casting happening tomorrow, 3 p.m. Can you make it? And it's like, well, actually, I live 4 hours away. It's kind of hard to drop everything I'm doing and make this casting. But like I said, I would do my very best. Like if I was available and I could make it happen, I would. And I did that quite a bit. It's kind of like fishing. Like, you throw the hook out and see who bites, see what fish wants you and who bites and who you're going to reel in, that kind of thing. And I booked a really cool job in the beginning. I say cool lightly because the job itself, I wasn't prepared for. And I'm just going to like literally expose my own self because this is an open book and I don't even care because the journey that I'm on now, like I can like sit here and like laugh about it, even though it's kind of embarrassing. But my like first big paying job with Wilhelmina was a job in Tennessee. Okay. They flew me out. The paycheck was like over $5,000. I was like, yes, for a 1-day shoot. Yes. Fly me out anywhere. Like that sounds so cool. I was like, this is going to be so fun. And they send you like an email with all the details stating like what the job is about, like what time, all the things, like a callback sheet or whatever. And in that email, I don't ever remember them sending me pictures of diapers. I remember like granny panty, like just like conservative underwear. Like there was no pictures of diapers. But when I got there to Tennessee at that shoot, I was modeling adult diapers. You guys, I don't tell this story to a lot of people. And now I'm telling everyone who's listening to Hot Girl Talks podcast because first of all, it's like, if I can't laugh about it, then like, what's the point of the story, So the shoot though, like the production, everything was like really amazing. The cast was great. Like the photos, I never saw the photos actually, but I took some behind the scenes and the lighting was great. Like everything was great. They put us in a nice Airbnb, like a giant Airbnb, food, everything. We were set up. But yeah, I was modeling adult diapers and the pictures actually like the thing that I was modeling, the stuff that we were modeling, it's not as bad as it sounds. Like when I tell people this story, like my close friends, I'll tell them like when I did tell them, I was like, yeah, I was modeling diapers. They were like, what? And then I showed them the picture and they're like, oh, it's not that bad. And I was like, okay, well, still. So anyhow, that was my first like big girl paying job with Wilhelmina. From there, I got a couple swim brands in Fort Lauderdale, and that was fun. But the biggest job I got was with Reebok, and that was a project called Accenture, and they are also like partnered with Walmart, and that was back in 2022. So it did take me like almost 2 years to like finally start booking because Reebok was more of a consistent job for me, and I made really great connections there. And yeah, I mean, that was like, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to do more of this. Why am I not doing more of this? So anyhow, Fast forward to just a couple months ago, not even, I was in LA shooting for Reebok. So it's like full circle. Like I'm going to get to tell my kids one day that I modeled diapers. Yes, but now look at me. Okay. So, hey, you can't take life too seriously. And I got a fat paycheck. So like who's really winning? But anyway, so Wilhelmina for me was a great experience and great exposure, and it's such a good like resume builder because now I have that credibility and I'm able to say I'm like more of a seasoned model. I always wish that I had worked more with Wilhelmina as far as like consistently booking, but hey, you know, it is what it is. I tried swim week a couple times, and it was a lot of fun the first time to stay in like a hotel room with the girls, other girls with Wilhelmina, hang out with them, and go to these castings. Castings are long days, they're long lines of waiting, and you get like 30 seconds maybe to like show who you are. And it didn't happen for me that year. I got a couple callbacks, but nothing booked, and that's fine. I got the experience, and that was like enough for me. So I wanted to try again next year. I did that again next year. Same thing. Went to the castings. I just didn't get booked. And hey, you know, maybe it wasn't my time. I'm still not going to give up, but it's like I'm not going to, you know, cry, like lose sleep or cry over the fact that I didn't get booked at swim week. But hey, maybe this season, you never know. Like I'm not a giver upper. I will not give up. And if I know that I can do something, I'm most likely going to do it. So because I manifest and I pray. Another reminder, hotties, make sure you're manifesting and praying. I feel like this episode is a little bit more of just like my journey, which I want to share it because I do get a lot of questions asking, how did you get signed with Wilhelmina? Like, what did you do? So that's why I'm explaining my story, in hopes that if you have any questions about it, you can definitely reach out to me one-on-one. I'm more than happy to answer your questions, but this is just like a broad explanation of how I got signed with them. And it was through my mother agent. So like I said before, if you are interested in modeling, find yourself a mother agent that will help you and that really cares for you. That's my recommendation. And yeah, so I met so many amazing, beautiful women and souls through Wilhelmina. I still follow them. I follow their journey. I think they're so beautiful, and they have supported me through and through since I met them. Like some of these models and girls that I met through Wilhelmina, maybe I met them in passing or just like a one-off, or, you know, hung out with them in a casting call line or something. But to this day, like the support from them is so, like, it's so special. You can tell when someone's more beautiful on the inside than the outside just because of like how they carry themselves, their presence, how they make you feel. And yeah, it's not all like so superficial like you would think modeling can be sometimes. I have met some models along the way that aren't the nicest or that think they're like the shit. And it's like, I'm just a very humble queen. Like, let's all support each other, and because we're all on our own separate paths, separate journeys, you know? So, yeah, my 3 years with Wilhelmina was unforgettable in the fact that I can say I did that, and not a lot of people can. They're very selective. It's very competitive. You have to have thick skin. I cried many, many times during my path of being with Wilhelmina because I remember one time when they were going to send me to like Turks and Caicos or like St. Thomas or some type of really pretty island for like a resort shoot. They were going to have us like lay down and get massages because the resort was like a brand new resort. And I was like, this is so cool. Okay. And this was the time around like stupid COVID time. So you had to be vaccinated, which at that time I was like getting vaccinated, but I wasn't fully vaccinated yet because it like took a couple weeks to, I don't even remember. It took a while to get my card and have it go through. And so they're like, oh, sorry, since you're not fully vaccinated, you can't go. And I was like, well, that's such a bummer because how fun would that be? But, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I kept telling myself that everything happens for a reason because although I was like really sad and crying that I couldn't go to this really amazing opportunity, on the other hand, I got a job and landed a position at Duke Energy where I spent 3 years of my time. So, you know, when one door closes, another one opens. If I had gone to that resort booking in whatever island it was, then I wouldn't have had my stable 3-year career job that's helped me build that side of my life. So it's like, you got to look at it from a different perspective and realize that everything happens for a reason. When one door closes, another one opens, and you just got to keep pushing. I know what I'm capable of, and I know that if that's something I wanted to pursue, I absolutely could. But it's also how bad you want it. And that's with anything. If you want to be a content creator, like, you have to love it and you have to want it. And so that's something I've learned along the way as well. It takes two to tango. The agents are going to do like their job, but it's also the model's job to really like keep updated photos, keep updated digitals, keep up your measurements. It's things aren't just going to land in your lap. And some people get lucky, and that it might be the case for them, but it's also not luck. It's just like, that's their path, their life. So anyways, yeah, Wilhelmina, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. It was a good ride. But my 3-year contract ended and they did not want to renew. And that was fine. At first I was like a little salty because I was like, okay. But I kind of sat back and was like, it's just not meant to be anymore. And that's okay. Like, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to work with them, to learn from every person that I met, and just every opportunity that they gave me, I was so grateful for, and the connections that I made, like, so beautiful. But were there times when I felt a little underappreciated? Yeah. Were there times where I felt like maybe they didn't see my worth? Yeah. Like, there were times that I felt doubt, and you just have to go in there knowing exactly who you are, what you bring to the table, and if maybe they're not matching that level, matching your energy or whatever it may be, it might not be for you. And nothing lasts forever. There's other agencies out there, So just keep your head up, keep moving forward, do your research, ask questions, network, connect. It's literally the biggest strength, especially in this type of industry. The more people you know, the better. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. One thing I did read, though, which will stick with me forever, and I want to share, is that it's like all about who you know, yes, but also if the only person you know is God, like, that's all you need to know. And that changed my perspective so much recently. If the only person I know in my connections and my world and my network is God, then I'll be okay. Because it's all about who you know, and if you know God, you're gonna be okay. I took a couple years off, so Wilhelmina and I, like, we broke up. We broke up in 2023. And 2023 is the year that I was getting married. It's the year that my sister Savannah passed away. Like, it was a tough year. It was a lot going on. And I wasn't in the mindset or their headspace to pursue modeling. I was like, I'm not interested in, doing that right now. It just wasn't my season. And I was on a healing journey, as you guys may know. And I still am, but we're thriving right now. My allergies, geez. Okay. So I took some time off. Like, I stopped dancing, I stopped modeling. It kind of was just like Hallie was just trying to find herself again. And hot girls, it's okay to take breaks. Please know it's okay to take breaks. In fact, I highly recommend it. I would not be sitting here in this podcast room doing this if I didn't take a break from my norm. And as you guys know too, by listening to this, if you haven't listened to this before, which I always forget, I need to start these episodes off with, like, if you're new here, but this is only episode 5. So it's like, everyone's new here. I'm new here. Okay. So we're back. I mentioned that Wilhelmina and I had a breakup. It wasn't rough. It was like, we're still friends, I took 2 years off to work on myself, and I feel like I've done a really good job of that, because now I'm at a place, and I have been since 2025 started, to really like take back that area of my life and own, like, actually, Hallie, like, you can still do this. Like, just because you took a couple years off and maybe you're not feeling as confident as a model right now doesn't mean I can't do it. So I was like, Hallie, you can do this. I had a talk with myself, and I was like, let's go. I hit up Christine, my mother agent at Premier Models, and I was like, I'm ready to get back to work. And we scheduled a photo shoot. I did 3 different looks, and she started sending those out to other agencies. And she is great because she's like, I know that this agency is looking for curvy models. Like, you can just tell she cares, and that's so important. You want these agents to care about you because it is competitive. There are so many people trying to get into this industry. But I think as long as you stay true to who you are and like have fun with it, and just like if it's something you're passionate about, go for it. Like, there's space for everyone, there's room for everyone. Okay, maybe not everyone, but like there is space for you, and like take up space, do it. And I learned that when I was in LA, when I met the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. I worked with them, they're full-time models, they truly inspired me. I was like, oh, like they're doing it, like, and I'm hanging out here with them, like I'm doing it right now with them, like why can't I do this full-time too? I had a whole like moment, and now I'm just inspired to get back out there, and really because I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy taking photos, modeling. And I just want to do it for all the really cool brands. Like, getting paid to do what you love is just the ultimate dream. So I'm back. I'm back in my modeling bag, and that brings me to my exciting news that I'm been waiting to share. As I said, I took updated photos, and she sent them out to other agencies down in Miami, and hopefully like New York and LA works out too for me shortly. But right now we're starting in Miami again. And so yesterday I took the Bright Line down to Miami, and I was working from my computer all the way down until like my interview at 11:30 with Next Models Miami. And my interview there was good. I walked in there, and it was like similar. Honestly, it was similar vibes to Wilhelmina, like the layout of like the table, the open windows, like on the 10th floor, and everyone just kind of like at their computers. It was good. I would say the vibes were maybe, to rate them, for me, 6.5 out of 10. I know that's not great. Maybe like a 7 out of 10, only because the vibes I got at my second interview were 10 out of 10. So when I compare the two, it's like, yes, the second one was 10 out of 10. First one was more like a 7 out of 10. And I have a lot of respect for all agencies, especially Next, and The Source, which that was my second interview. At the first one, I'll just go over like the questions they asked me. The first question was like, what brands have I worked for? And so I answered the question, and I don't have a running list of brands that I've worked for. So I mentioned like the top 3. And I kind of felt like embarrassed because I was like, I mean, I haven't modeled for all these cool different brands. Like, I want to though, like sign me up. And then the second question was like, how long were you with Wilhelmina? And the third question was like, have you done swim week? And I told them I had tried swim week. It didn't work out for me just yet. And I got to tell them about my Orlando Magic dance thing. And yeah, I was able to also ask them questions, because as much as they were interviewing me, I was interviewing them, because yes, I'm working for them, but they're also working for me. Like, it's vice versa. So that's something to remember if you're in these casting calls, or if you're in these interviews with modeling agencies. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's why you're there. Take advantage of your time. I also brought a swimsuit, which always have swim on you, be like a solid black or just like a solid color bikini. Because immediately they were like, did you bring a swimsuit? And I was like, yeah, I did. So I changed, and they took some digitals of me in their room. If you're taking digitals, make sure it's like a super plain, most of the time, like a white background, natural lighting, lots of natural lighting in there. Fresh face, not a whole lot of makeup, just glowy look. Yeah, jeans. The style is baggy these days, but your preference. And then like a white or black tank top, just something simple. So yeah, took some digitals with them. I did a little video. I said, hi, my name is Hallie Gilmore. I'm from Orlando, and I'm 27 years old, something like that. And we'll see. I mean, I didn't leave there thinking that they loved me, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for an agency that was like, yes, we want her, and you want that. You want someone that's like, yep. And so I went to the second interview, and they all stood up and shook my hand. They were like, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Like, the energy was just immediately like higher when I walked in there. And every model's experience could be so different. So I'm just, again, explaining mine to hopefully help someone learn a little bit more about the modeling industry and how to get into it. So with that being said, I'll continue. Thank you guys for listening. So I went there and they had me fill out a form that went over like just contact information, sizing, measurements, if I can do any like type of sports or whatever, like special activities. So I put like dancing, rollerblading, pickleball, volleyball, basketball, yoga, that type thing. I started talking to one of the owners. She was super sweet. She asked me about like my modeling experience. Also, she also asked me about the brands I've worked with. So that is a question that you could be expected to answer, especially if you're more of a seasoned model, telling them what brands you worked for, or just having like your experience like in your pocket and like knowing how to answer these questions, because sometimes in interviews you can kind of get stumped. So just be prepared with like what work have you done, and your sizes. Definitely be confident in your sizes. Get a tape measurement. You can order it from Amazon. Do your bust, your waist, your hips, all the things. So yeah, the energy was incredible, and I spent a little bit of time there, like longer than I did at the first interview. They took digitals of me. They took a video of me walking, doing like a swim week runway walk. And that was fun because they said they're already casting for a swim week this summer. So hopefully, fingers crossed, like I said earlier, it's like full circle. Let's say it didn't happen the 2 times I tried it, got my heart broken, and I was like, this is disappointing. And now I'm like, wait, actually, Hallie, you never know. You never know what could happen. So I think it does take like a lot of no's for you to get that one yes, and it just be so sweet. You're like, it just tastes better that way, because you're like, I did that. And that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. So the vibes at The Source were, like I said, amazing, and they wanted to sign me. Immediately they were like, when can you start? Like, what, we want to work with you. You're beautiful, like everything. It was just so comforting and like reassuring, which is what I was looking for. I was looking for that high energy, that reassurance. And they said they loved my hair and my smile, which I was like, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate it. I'm not going to lie. Next, they were like, well, I don't know how about your hair. Like, would you be open to changing it? And in my head, I'm thinking, well, like, yeah, I'm open for sure. But like, I thought my hair was like my moneymaker. I thought that was like the moment, you know? So for them to like quickly be like, well, can we change your hair? I was kind of like, next. Sorry, no tea, no shade. But yeah, so I'm following my intuition on this one, and this all happened like literally yesterday. So I'm gonna read the contract, and I already talked to my mother agent about it. We're on the same page, and I'm just ready. I'm so ready to get back into work. I also made a prayer board. So my prayer board has 5 different envelopes on it. One says health, one says family, self, and career/finances. And in one of those, I think it was the self or career one, I wrote like, I want to get back into the modeling industry, and I pray that, you know, when I go down to Miami and I interview with these agencies, that something great happens out of it. Like, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but I wrote down a prayer for it. And now I get to put one in my answered prayers saying, thank you, God, for answering my prayers, because he really did that. And I really did that. And I'm just on cloud 9. I know I always say like I'm on a high, but when I say that, I mean I'm on cloud 9 because I'm just excited and happy. And it just goes to show, like, just by being yourself and showing up for yourself, being consistent, taking those much needed breaks, and figuring out what you want and going after it, it's so fun. It's so rewarding. And you meet so many great people along the way when you're on the right path and you're on the path to success. So I feel great. I hope that you guys learned something from this episode. I hope to come back on here and share so many other tips from my new experience with The Source. And I want to end this off. If you're still here, hotties, thank you for being here. Seriously, I appreciate it. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at editing. I know last week when Shanti and I recorded, the audio is all out of whack. Guys, please, please be patient with me. Hang in there. Give me some grace, okay? So before I go, though, I do want to mention I am working on a model workshop. Yes, you heard it here first. This is the first time I'm announcing it. I'm working on a model workshop, and that will include myself teaching you how to pose in front of a camera. I'll be doing some Instagram audits, going through your Instagram, kind of helping you tweak it a little bit, make it more marketable to agencies. I will be providing photographers. There'll be 3 photographers there shooting some digitals, so you'll have fresh new digitals to send to agents and agencies. I'll have 3 guests at the model workshop, and I'm calling them speakers but also guests because they're going to be there to kind of help me facilitate. They're professional models. One is a business owner, and I'm so excited. This is going to be my first event, so please give me a little round of applause. No, I'm kidding. But I can't wait to bring this idea to life and just to inspire other people to teach them, because there's not a whole lot of like people teaching you how to get signed with an agency or how to get booked these jobs, commercial, all the things. I feel like there is not a whole lot of resources out there. And so I want to kind of be the plug. I want to help you guys, and to the best of my ability. I mean, I am no expert. I'm not the most professional, but you can call me a seasoned model, baby, and I'm gonna call myself a professional actually. Okay, let's do that. I'm turning up the gears. Yes, I'm a professional. I mean, I already said that in my intro. So let's stick to the plan here. But anyways, so stay tuned. I think there will be like limited spots. I haven't figured out all the tweaks yet. Haven't set a date set in stone, but it's coming up. Once I get everything finalized, you guys will be the first to know. And I hope to see you guys there. If you want to be a model, if your dream is to be in that industry, you can do it. Believe in yourself. This industry though, it's not for everyone. I will say that. I'll be honest. It's not for everyone. Not everyone has the look or what some companies are looking for, but there is a space for you somewhere in the industry. It's not just one lane. And if there is no lane for you right now, make your own lane, baby. That's what I'm doing over here. I feel like I'm making my own lane over here. You just got to pave your own path, and you will see success. Guys, thank you again for tuning into Hot Girl Talks podcast. I appreciate all of the support that I've been getting, and I can't wait to interview some boss babes. I have some incredible women coming on the show soon to share their experiences, their journeys, challenges, and everything in between. So stay tuned. Hot girls, let me know if you have any questions. I am so here to help you with anything that I can. I hope to see you guys at my model workshop. I cannot wait. And yeah, hotties, take care of yourself. I will see you guys real soon.